Hello everyone, welcome to SI UK India webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are now live with University College Dublin team. They will be taking us through this webinar. We'll try to answer all the questions after the presentation during the Q&A session. So let's start the webinar. Over to you, Supriya.
Thank you, Yukti. Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Supriya Sampson, and I am the Regional Manager for South Asia at the University College Dublin Global Centre. Today in this session, we aim to provide you information on Irish education and particularly on University College Dublin and its courses. To give you a slight idea on Ireland as a study destination, I am happy to share that Ireland's education system is considered in the top 5 in the world. It's an English-speaking nation, a very student-friendly destination, which is ranked number 2 on Global Peace Index 2024. Global Startups and Ecosystem Index having positioned itself at 16th worldwide, it is the second fastest growing economies in Europe in almost all the areas, be it ICT, engineering, biopharma, medtech, etc. Specifically, if I talk about engineering exports sector, it contributes more than 5.6 billion annually to Irish exports. 4 of the top 10 global engineering design firms are located there. 16 of the top 20 global tech companies and the top 3 enterprise software providers, which offer jobs to more than 1 lakh people in the ICT industry. It is the 4th largest exporter of financial services in Europe, with 430 plus financial services companies. Ireland is the world's 3rd largest exporter in biopharmaceutical, with 80 plus billion annual exports. It is the 2nd highest in Europe for wind and solar energy production per capita. 80% electricity is produced by renewables. Ireland's medtech sector has a 50-year track record, which includes more than 300 companies that employ more than 40,000 people. So I have said a lot about Ireland, and to share more information about Ireland and UCD today, along with me in the panel, I have Miss Nicola Fortune. Nicola is Careers and Skill Consultant at UCD. She works very closely with employers, faculty, and staff to develop opportunities for students and to support them both individually and in groups on their career journey. So welcome, Nicola. Then I have Miss Katie O'Neill. Katie is the Senior Marketing Manager at UCD College of Engineering and Architecture. She carries a wealth of experience in guiding students. Welcome, Katie. And our very special guest for today, we have our alum, Mr. Rohit Dahiya. Rohit studied Bachelor's of Computer Science at UCD and is currently working as software engineer at Ericsson, Ireland. He will share his story with us. So welcome all the panelists. Now, without taking any time further, I hand over to my colleague Nicola, who will share information on careers with us. So over to you, Nicola.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. So again, as I was introduced, my name is Nicola Fortune. So I'm part of a team here in UCD, working in the UCD Careers Network to support our students. So my particular role is working with the College of Engineering and Architecture. So we have consultants for each of the colleges, and we actually have 2 for engineering and architecture. So it's quite a busy role, quite a busy area. So what I'm going to talk about today is just a really quick run through of, I suppose, how we can actually support our students and help our students to compete effectively in the labour market. And I suppose, what can they expect and what would we expect from our students? So I'm going to very briefly touch just on the job market before going into, I suppose, a little bit more focus on the supports, because I know Katie is going to maybe continue on talking a little bit more about the labour market also. So in terms of obviously the labour market generally, it's in a positive position. We are a global hub for a lot of multinationals, as Supriya mentioned. For engineering specifically, you can see I just pulled up some figures here from Engineers Ireland. So Engineers Ireland is a professional body for engineers here, and every year they publish a barometer of the profession, which is very helpful if you're looking for any kind of information on the sector. So you can see here, I just pulled out a couple of figures that I thought might be interesting. So over on the left, you can see 72% of employers are seeing a skill shortage of engineers. So we don't quite have enough people with the exact skills we're looking for in terms of the engineering skill set. And then looking at, I suppose, feedback from our actual chartered engineers, you can see down here, 85% of the chartered engineers who were surveyed as part of this feel there's actually a lot of opportunities for growth and for jobs in the sector in Ireland. So that's kind of a national level. At a university level, so we do actually survey our graduates about a year after they graduate. So every year, about 9 months or a year after our students finish up, we go out and we ask them, what are they doing now? So for our most recently published data, you can see here on the screen. So 70% of our graduates went directly into employment, 25% into further study, and then just 5% seeking employment or other activities such as traveling or other caring responsibilities or a variety of different things. So these would be considered very, very positive numbers. Then looking, I suppose, just briefly kind of to indicate the type of companies that we see our students go to work in. So these are kind of some of last year's employers. So that's really all I want to cover out just in terms of the labour market, because that was really just to touch on it. I suppose more importantly, what I want to focus on today is how we can support students to compete in this labour market. Because obviously there's a lot of opportunities, but it also is a competitive marketplace. So what we hope to see students doing when they arrive is basically coming in, understanding potential challenges, having done some research, and being ready to use the resources available to them in UCD. So in terms of challenges, that obviously would vary from person to person. But for instance, some of the more common challenges for an international student might be, it could be a different culture. So just getting used to different cultural norms. Possibly there might be language issues or just getting used to maybe even our accent. So kind of just getting used to that kind of change. Understanding things like visa requirements, and as well as that, the different recruiting landscapes from country to country. So when we talk about kind of recruitment in Ireland, so I'm going to focus on graduate recruitment, obviously, because that's most relevant here today. But the most important thing to say, I suppose, is that it is a competitive recruitment process. It's very much driven by the student. We don't place students into opportunities, but we do provide opportunities for students to, to engage with, and then we support them in that process. So it's very much student driven, depending on their interests and depending on, I suppose, what's the best fit for them. Graduate recruitment can be a little bit different than experienced hire recruitment. So experienced hire recruitment is when somebody has a couple of years experience in an area and they're just looking for jobs, which is fairly straightforward. Graduate recruitment tends to take place much earlier with the timelines. So for instance, a student might arrive for a 1-year master's in September, at the start of September in Ireland, and actually recruitment fairs are taking place by the end of that month. So kind of around the first week of October, you'll see recruitment fairs taking place. A lot of graduate programs will advertise at this point in time, and they'll actually interview in the next month or so and possibly offer then for somebody to start the following June or September. So again, that can be a bit of a shock if you kind of don't realize in advance that we do have quite early timelines. It's not the end of recruitment. So obviously there is recruitment taking place throughout the year, but some of the larger employers will only follow this pattern. So it's important to have as much options as possible by kind of being aware of this timeline. And again, to say, I suppose, obviously, we do expect the students to take charge of the process and to make a plan, but there is quite a lot of support available. So the student does need to engage with that support. So I'm just after showing on the screen some I suppose this is the cover of our most recent career guide for the College of Engineering and Architecture. So for anyone who's interested, you can go to our website. So we have an open website. So you can see the web address there, ucd.ie/careers. If you go on there, you can go to career guides and you'll see there's a career guide for each of the different colleges. So whatever you're studying, click on that career guide and you'll find an awful lot of very interesting information there. So it'll talk about some of the supports, but also maybe some of the typical things to expect in Ireland in terms of things like CVs. So listed on the side here, I've included some of the basic supports that are available to all of our students in the university. So that would include things like one-to-one appointments. So for instance, the student might want to talk about their career plan, careers workshops on things like, CVs, interviews, LinkedIn, all of these kind of things to make sure that you're, I suppose, making the most of your experience and actually presenting yourself as effectively as possible. We also have obviously a vacancy portal for employers to use, as well as a range of different online resources. So that includes things like CV 360 and Interview 360. So they're like artificial intelligence enabled tools. So those are all things that will be kind of within our platform. We also have a range of different employer events taking place throughout the year. So these could range from being a pop-up stand. An employer is kind of meeting students in a particular space, depending on who they're looking to meet, to lunchtime sessions, to Instagram takeovers. But I suppose the largest or the most visible employer events we would have would be our recruitment fairs. So you can see these are our most recent recruitment fairs that took place just a few weeks ago. So the most relevant one, I suppose, for engineers tends to be the Science, Engineering and Technology Fair. So that took place at the very end of September. But also actually we do have quite a lot of engineers interested in business, finance and management as well. So obviously there's a lot of crossover. But I suppose the key here is that all students are welcome to any of these. And it's really just kind of what section the employer is what the fair is, as opposed to you having to be a particular student to go to a particular fair. So obviously we also support students to prepare for these fairs. So that's, again, we do things like the CV prep kind of sessions, or I did a recruitment fair prep session the other day. So there's also a lovely little new video on our YouTube channel if you want to have a look. That's kind of how to prepare for a recruitment fair. So that can be useful just to kind of arrive really knowing what to expect. So I'm going to finish up in a second, but the main resource I want to actually flag today is designed especially for international students. So it's openly available on our website. So it is designed for our students, but you don't have to be a UCD student to access it. So if somebody is currently considering applying to UCD and hasn't yet applied, they can still access this resource. So if you go to our website, or even more easily, if you use the QR code here, you can go to our website and there's resources for international students. And what you'll find is a program called Jumpstart. So Jumpstart is an online program that we designed about 3 or 4 years ago. So it's designed especially for international students. It is open access and self-paced, so nobody is moderating it. It's something that students can go through, or potential students can work their way through in their own time. So when they go in there, they will find a range of different kind of modules. So, and it covers out some of the stuff I've been talking about here. So for instance, trying to understand the Irish recruitment process better, understanding things like internships, working part-time, making career plans, how does, the whole visa situation work, and really just things like how to make the most of your time in Ireland. So again, I would very much invite anyone who has any interest in coming to work in Ireland maybe to have a look at this resource, and it is freely available on the website. So that being said, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Katie in a second, and obviously I'm available for questions at the end. So thanks very much.
Thanks, Nicola. Just going to pull my slides up here, if you bear with me one moment. Now, firstly, thank you, Nicola, and I think you gave a wonderful overview of the supports that are there for our students, particularly our international students, when it comes to jumpstarting their career once they have undertaken their masters. So my name is Katie O'Neill, and I work specifically within the College of Engineering and Architecture at UCD. So I have the distinct pleasure of getting to work with so many of our wonderful international students who come in and choose to study their masters with us at University College Dublin. So this is our beautiful campus, lovely and sunny, as you can see. This picture is actually taken from the engineering building, so it's overlooking one of 3 lakes in UCD. And I'm going to give you a little overview of our college, but then I'm going to focus in on the careers. But I just want you to understand the type of environment that you'll be coming to study in, should you choose to study in University College Dublin. So as I mentioned, we are the College of Engineering and Architecture. So we look after all things to do with engineering, architecture, planning, and environmental policy. And our student body is absolutely wonderful. So you understand where we sit in our Irish market. It's nice to know that we are the first preference for students who are leaving school, or our high school students in Ireland looking to study engineering, architecture, or landscape architecture. So we are the #1 choice amongst school leavers. But really what I'm focusing on today is that we have over 30, that's actually grown to 40 taught masters programs available for students who wish to go on and do their masters and their level 9. This is our college at a glance. I'm not going to go into every number, but I'll draw your attention to 2, both on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So 94% of our graduates are either employed or in further study within 6 months of graduation. And
And I think that's really important for you to be aware of, because if you're deciding to study in University College Dublin, you're investing your time, you're investing your finances, and you're investing emotionally in terms of moving to a new country. So I think it's really important to be aware that there is a return on your investment, and that primarily is in your career and starting your career. So I think you can understand from all the supports Nicola has highlighted why our students and our graduates are so successful in securing employment quickly after graduation. I'll also highlight the fact that in the last 5 years, the academics within our college have secured close to €108 million in research funding. And the reason that's important for you as the student is because it means you're getting exposed to exactly what is happening in your area of interest right now. Because our academics are working and researching extremely closely with your future employer to ensure that they're addressing issues in that particular area of engineering at that time. So whether it's looking at the latest aerospace or the latest biomedical techniques or the latest electric cars, or working in the ICT on how to make batteries last longer in, for example, your mobile phones, the academics are really well connected and they're researching this area and they're bringing that back into the classroom. And also, as I say, they have those links with your future employers. I'm going to play a short video. If this doesn't come through, please just let me know and I'll skip on. But I thought it would be important to give you a sense of the type of environment that you would be studying in. So hopefully that's given you a sense of the type of environment you'd be in. So in University College Dublin, in our college, we have a range of either 1 or 2-year master's programs on the engineering side of things. And they're all, the 1 years are all listed here. They're 12 months. They are 90 credits. And as you can see, we offer everything from the environmental technology to the mechanical to the management, to robotics and intelligent manufacturing, which is a new master's, extremely popular, as well as digital technology for sustainable agriculture, and all in between. But in addition to the 1-year masters that we offer, which are extremely popular, we also offer a variation in a 2-year masters, and these are called MEs. And of course, the big difference being one is 1 year and the other is 2 years. But a big difference that you should be aware of is that in all of our ME 2-year programs, we have an embedded 6 to 8 month internship. So that means that our students who come to the 2-year masters will spend 6 to 8 months working. There's a whole support system that will help you secure that internship. We have 2 dedicated internship managers who will work with you. It is a competitive process. We work with over 100 companies to place you. Although we cannot guarantee it, I can tell you that last year, 95% of the students were paid while they were on their internship, and 70% of those students had a job offer at the end of their internship. So what it does is set up our students into a very nice position that they're graduating with a master's from a top 1% higher education institute, but they're also graduating with really, really relevant work experience. So it's important to know the difference between both the 1 year and the 2 year. I mentioned the internship there briefly. So it's included in our undergraduate pathway, but for master's students, it's included in our 2-year master's MEs, as I mentioned. The types of companies that we're working with, as I mentioned, there's over 100. It's the company names are not only so different, but the industries are so different. You've got APC, Deloitte, Dupuis, Pfizer, Analog, Medtronic, Logitech, and so on and so forth. And the type of company that you will be doing your internship with will be relevant to the area of engineering that you are studying, so that it means you're gaining that really relevant work experience. And the work experience generally carries about 20 to 30 credits. On the architecture, planning, and environmental side, I just wanted to mention a number of masters we also offer. And these, again, the Masters of Architecture is 2 years, and the rest are 1-year programs, 1 year, 90 credit masters. So moving on to the careers, and for a lot of the students I work with, particularly our international students, they're really interested not only obviously in the quality of education they're getting, but what can I do with this after? Where can I work? What type of job am I going to have? And what opportunities are going to wait for me? And I know both my colleagues, Supriya and Nicola, have already alluded to this, but I really wanted just to spotlight the sectors that the graduates from our college are feeding into. So I know it's already been mentioned, the ICT sector. An awful lot of our graduates feed in there. We have 16 of the top 20 global tech companies based in Ireland. Over 100,000 employees are working in this, many feeding in from the College of Engineering and Architecture. The medtech sector, again, we feed into, and 14 of the 15 top medical technology companies have a base in Ireland. Obviously, there's the engineering industry itself. Food and ag in Ireland is absolutely massive, with over 15 billion products exported worldwide. About 90% of the food produced in Ireland is actually exported, and it has an excellent reputation for both quality and safety. And again, a lot of our engineers are working in this discipline as well. The pharma, very well known in Ireland. And again, the top 10 biopharma companies have a base here in Ireland. And then on the financial services, so a huge amount of our engineers also go into this area with their decision-making abilities, their ability to analyze, and their ability to strategize, and using all of those expertise that they have learned as they learn to think like an engineer. This is just to give you one example. This is Dublin city centre. And just to show the types of companies and the big names, which I'm sure you're going to recognize, all have headquarters here. So this is just along our River Liffey. And I would say it's about a 20 to 25-minute bus ride from UCD. The bus stop is based in UCD, and it's about probably 8 kilometers in distance. So we're very centrally located as a university. And as Nicola already mentioned, a lot of these companies come on campus at the end of September for our STEM Careers Fair, where they are actively seeking to engage with our students even before they have graduated. I also think it's worth noting that the Higher Education Authority reported that the average earnings for those with a UCD degree are the highest across all universities in Ireland. So I think it gives a level of reassurance to understand the high regard in which University College Dublin graduates are held, and why our employment figures are very strong for our graduates. So just in summary, why I feel we certainly stand out, it's the career opportunities, and we've certainly focused on that today. It's the academic quality, which links into the career opportunities. Really important, we are #1 in Ireland for sustainability. And then also, I think the application ease is important around scholarships, the fact that we've wonderful global centres to support, and also there's college contacts. I'm sure you're all aware of the 3rd level graduate scheme. Should graduates wish to stay and pursue their careers and work in Ireland after, there are visas available through the 3rd level graduate scheme. And again, these are the types of companies that our students are feeding into. I'm hoping there's quite a large number of global brand names that you'd recognize, but a lot of our engineering students are feeding into these types of companies. So I think I've probably spoken long enough, and I hope I've given you a good flavor of the opportunity that awaits students who are considering studying engineering here at UCD with us. So I'll stop sharing, and I'm going to hand you back over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie. That was very informative. Thank you, Nicola. So I'm sure students, this would have given you a good sense of the opportunities which are available to you in Ireland. And you would have seen that it's not just inclined to one area, it is spread all over. So you get multiple opportunities. And it makes a lot of sense when you hear from our student what kind of opportunities they got. And even when I was looking at the Q&A, the questions are similar. So to help you out, we have Ronit, who is currently working in Ireland, like I mentioned. So he will share his journey with you and what are the things which he faced and how easy it was for him to settle in Ireland. So Ronit, if you can unmute and share some information.
So, hi everyone. So, I'll introduce myself. So, my name is Ronit, and I moved to Ireland in 2018. And I graduated in 2022, and I did a degree in computer science with major in data science. And I've been living in Ireland for almost 6 years now. And it's been an incredible journey. Like, I love living here, although the weather can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. One of the things that I appreciate about studying in UCD was the flexibility that it offers in the module system. So, like every student has core modules that they need to complete, but they also have an option of two modules that they could choose from any field of interest. So I personally.
Ronit, you've accidentally gone on mute.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
I
Yes.
can. Thank you.
So like I personally enrolled in courses like Introduction to Robotics, Digital Business, Creative Thinking, and Innovation. So UCD offers like a great opportunity to explore subjects that are outside your major and that kind of broaden your horizon. Speaking about the lectures, so they were like super engaging, and the professors are always helpful and supportive. They made sure like we have like a strong theoretical understanding as well as practical knowledge, which is essential when we are preparing for the job market after college. The teaching staff was also approachable, whether it was for assignments, projects, your tutorials, or even career guiding. Outside of academics, I was super involved and I joined like a variety of societies like Indian Society, International Student Society, Food Society, Gaming Society, and like there are many sports clubs as well. It's like personally, I went for the cricket and the badminton one. So you wouldn't find yourself idle when you are in UCD. There will be always some activity that would be happening on campus that you can always go to. So coming back to my journey, like in my third year, I completed a 6 months internship. So we have like a 6 months internship option where you can apply to many jobs through the career portal that we have in UCD. And I did it with Ericsson, and like most of the students, I would say roughly 80% to 90% of the people who gets an internship, they like after the internship is completed, they usually get a pre-placement offer that we call like PPO, and it's quite common, and it's an easy way to step into the job market. Speaking about the tech market, like we have like plenty of opportunities in the areas like software development, data science, and cloud computing. And the career fairs and the networking events that happen on campus, like they help you in making these connections and getting inside the role. Overall, the experience in UCD was more than just academics. It was a period of personal growth, making friends, experiencing life in a new country. And I met a variety of people who played some role in shaping my path, and no regrets. Of course, there were ups and downs along the way, but they only made the journey more meaningful. And I'm excited to share more about my journey today and answer any question that you might have. That's it from my side.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ronit. That was very interesting, and it feels really good that you've adjusted so well in Ireland. I feel very proud to inform that UCD specifically is doing a lot for shaping the careers of the students. And this is the reason we've been ranked #1 from 5 consecutive years in terms of employability. And we are ranked 87 worldwide for employability. And when it comes to employability ranking, what is considered is the industry collaboration, the industry partnerships that we hold. And we do a lot on those grounds. Now you heard about the student life also from Ronit. Like we do multiple things which help you enjoy your student life. And this is the reason we tell the students that, engage in multiple clubs and societies, which will give you good exposure and be part of them and enjoy your student life, which is usually very short. He did an undergrad, but most of our students, they come for post-grad. So you have only those like 1 or 2 years to enjoy that. So make the maximum out of it. Now, those who are looking for 2025 intake, our applications are open. So we start our application portal 1 year prior to the course commencement. So from October, 1st of October 2024, we've started our application portal for 2025 intake. So if you wish to join, you have to be very quick because UCT is super competitive. And I was just looking at our numbers. Our applications volume has doubled from last year. So which will make the competition extreme. So, and we follow the rolling admission system, that is first come first basis. So it's very important that you make your application at the earliest and fill out the application completely. So all the instructions are mentioned on our website, which you can have a look and make sure that whatever is required, you complete it. So Katie briefed you about the engineering courses. So there are other courses which are extremely popular. For example, our Sunderland School of Law comes in the top 100 worldwide. So it's a very good law school where you can do multiple courses in social science and law. So any student who's looking to do human rights or international relations or into human-computer interaction, social data science, we have multiple opportunities for them. So all these courses are 1 year in duration. Plus, we offer multiple programs into arts and humanities as well. So our arts and humanities department comes in the top 50 worldwide. So I'm sure those who are from the literature background would have heard about James Joyce, the famous poet. So James Joyce is a UCD alum, which we are very proud of. We offer other departments also, like health and sciences. We offer MPH. Our science department is extremely strong. And those who are interested into biopharmaceutical or biotechnology, biotherapeutics kind of courses, we do offer 1 year courses in that area. Plus, we have some combination courses where like we give biotechnology plus business. So you get 2/3 of the modules of biotechnology and you study 1/3 of the modules of the business school. I'm sure if you would have researched a little, you would know about our Smurfit Business School. So Smurfit Business School is very popular, not just in Europe, but in India, it's extremely popular. And you will see that our courses have become very competitive because we do create nationality balance. And in UCD campus, you will get over 130 nationalities on campus. So sometimes like you meet a student, you've not even heard of the country before, but yes, you get to know them. So that's about the admission process. So I know that students, they are generally very interested about scholarships. So I'll talk a little bit about the scholarship process also. So when you make an application and you apply, we check your application, we see if you qualify. In some programs, we give you a qualifying scholarship, which is a partial scholarship that is automated and will be mentioned on your offer letter. So in case there is no scholarship mentioned on your offer letter, that means that program does not offer any scholarship. But we do offer competitive scholarships, which you can make an application and apply. For example, we have Global Excellence Scholarship. So if you see India's 4th president, V.V. Giri, he studied from UCD and we have a scholarship in his name. So which is our V.V. Giri Global Excellence Scholarship. So once you have an offer letter with you, then you can make an application and apply for that competitive scholarship. So there are around 12 scholarships that we offer, which are up to 100%. So a few of them are 100% and some are 50% in amount. And plus, we do give multiple departmental scholarships also. So these departmental scholarships are also sometimes automated. Sometimes we will connect with you ourselves also. And for any information, you can see our website, check, and then make an application for that particular scholarship. Even Government of Ireland provides you a scholarship. So Government of Ireland's scholarships are not out yet. Last year, its deadline was 25th of March. This time, whenever like it is open, we do tell all our applicants, we do inform them about it. There also the process will remain same, that once you have an offer letter, then you can make an application and apply. Now, very important in terms of UCD is to follow the timelines. Like I mentioned, the portal is open. You have to make an application, and we follow the first come first basis. So we will check your application, and we'll give you an outcome in roughly a tad of 4 to 6 weeks. And if you get an offer letter, that will come with a deadline that you have to follow. In case to accept your offer letter, you need to pay a certain amount, which will be mentioned on your offer, plus the date till when you need to submit that amount to secure your place at UCD. So please make sure whenever you get an offer letter, please read it thoroughly. It's a lengthy document which you should read. So I've spoken a lot. Still keep on asking me questions. Now I'll take few questions that I have received, and I'll ask the other panelists to switch on their cameras, and then I will start the Q&A section. Yeah, so the first question is, what challenges do international students face when seeking internships in Ireland? So first, I'll ask Nicola to talk a little bit about that, and then followed by Ronit, who will share his experience of seeking internships in Ireland.
So I suppose in terms of internships, the main thing to consider is whether or not there's an internship built into the program that the student is applying for. So if there is an internship built into the program, that means it's an academic internship. For instance, Katie mentioned the ME programs that have the 6 to 8 month internship. I believe Ronit did an internship that he's going to mention in a minute as part of his undergrad. So if it is built into the program, then there's actually quite a lot of support available, as obviously it's part of our system. So we have our academic internship managers, and I also work very closely. So there's mandatory workshops with myself, for instance. So I suppose in terms of the key challenge there, if it's built into the program, maybe is just getting ready in time because there's so much going on. So for instance, with the ME program, you start the first year, you actually apply for internships again within a few weeks of starting. So I suppose to a certain extent, capacity and kind of arriving in a new country, and then having new classes and then suddenly having to apply for internships can be a bit of a challenge. I suppose to support students and sort of counteract that to a certain extent, that's why we would hope people would do things like the Jumpstart program before they arrive, get a little bit familiar with who are the types of employers they might want to actually engage with. Obviously, they will be supported in the moment, but kind of doing your homework in advance means that it's much easier to balance everything. You're not trying to suddenly start doing a CV, for instance, when you arrive. Instead, you've already kind of got your basic things ready to go. I suppose if there's not an internship built into the program, then the key issue is there actually time to do an internship? So for instance, if you were doing an undergraduate program, and there isn't an internship built in, then it would be doing it into summers. So a summer internship, because you will actually be studying during the academic year, so wouldn't be available for an internship. So I don't know, Ronit, is that maybe you have a different perspective on it?
No, like it's pretty much the same. So like for myself, like in the third year, we have the internship option. So if you're able to secure an internship, you'll be in the third year. So the third year is split into, like, you have your normal semester from September to December. And the second semester would be from January till March. So it's going to be just 2.5 months where you have to do, and the modules would also be less. And from March onwards until August end, you'll be doing your either a project if you don't get an internship, but if you land an internship, you'll be doing an internship and you won't be studying. So there's no a task of where you need to manage your college and side by side do an internship as well. Regarding the challenges faced, so and like how would you secure an internship? So like I said, the UCD portal that we have. So over there, like we have like a list, and I created like hundreds of job applications that you can do and you can apply to, and you can be assured like you will hear from them at some point of time, and you will be able to secure. Like the friends that I have, they were almost all of them were able to get into some of the companies that they applied for. And if they get rejected, then they also get a reason why they did that. And then they just make the changes in the CV, repeat this process, and they are able to land an internship eventually. So yeah, like you need to work on that, but like eventually you will be able to get it.
Yeah. So Ronit, you mentioned a very valid point about the CV, that if your CV is not correct, you may get rejected. So this is the reason UCD has a very unique feature, which is CV 360, where like you get a feedback on your CV, and that helps you create your CV as per the Irish job market, because the CVs which we have in India might not work over there. So in short, there is full support which is provided to you. So you don't have to feel that I am a new face in the country. Just connect with the right department. And even in the careers department, they work on appointments. So you take an appointment with them, you go meet, and you get complete feedback on how the internships can work. So, Ronit, one question, follow-up question. You said some students that do not get internships, and they have an opportunity to do project. Does that affect their assessment or their scores, or how does it work?
So no, it doesn't affect anything academically. So it's the same credit that goes into the internship and the same goes into the project. So, but the only advantage I would say of a student who did an internship would be like he would have very high chances of getting like a pre-placement offer. So he wouldn't be stressed in his fourth year, in the second semester, like after I graduate, like will I have a job? Will I be looking for a job? So that's the only advantage that those guys might have. But then again, like there are job on the careers portal again, like if you don't get an internship, there's nothing to be worried about. Like in the fourth year, like you need to take some time out from your academics and manage accordingly, and if you do that, you'll always get a job.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Katie, you mentioned in one of your slides that 95% of the students, they got paid internship. So what is generally the criteria? Do all the students who go for a short-term project, is there a possibility of having paid internships for them too?
Yeah, so the internships that are embedded in the program, so the ones that are part of the curriculum, are either 6 months in length or 8 months in length. So yes, generally, as I said, they are paid pro rata, whether they're doing 6 months or 8 months, and they're actually paid quite well. And the reason that they are paid is that when they're in there in the company, they're not seen as, these are students who'll be great for photocopying or anything like that. They actually get put on proper projects. So they get to work with more senior engineers. So it's a learning environment for them as well. And also the companies are so keen to employ our graduates that they're also wanting to impress and make their environment and their working environment attractive to these students as well. And in addition to that, there's also often such a good relationship built up between the student employee and the employer that they might take a topic that is relevant to that environment for their thesis, for example. So there could potentially be a further collaboration there. In addition to, as I mentioned, last year, 70% were offered student positions upon graduation. So, as I said, we can't guarantee they are paid, but they generally are paid. And the companies really see the benefit of the students and the work that they contribute towards. I mean, I'd say every couple of weeks I get an email from another company saying, do you guys offer internships? And I pass them on to our 2 dedicated internship managers. So there's almost a little bit of competition amongst the companies as well to attract our students into their internships.
Thank you, Katie. Now, often we hear that networking plays a very important role when it comes to getting jobs in future. So my next question is also related to that, which is how can students effectively network with alumni or industry professionals to gain better opportunities in future? So I pass on this question first to Ronit, who can talk a little bit about his experience of networking, and then Nicola can also add to it, please.
So networking, your best friends would be your seniors. So who have already gone through that. So the first point of contact would be your seniors. Like you will be having some modules that they already did, and you'll have your peer mentor. So your peer mentor would be able to connect you to the other seniors. You will be joining societies where you'll have your seniors. So networking. So if you network, take part in student life, join society, talk to people, you will eventually find someone somewhere working where you want to be. So the first point of contact would be your seniors. Talk to them. They're super helpful. Like nobody is like, oh, I won't tell you, I won't help you. That isn't the case. The second thing would be LinkedIn. So the first thing, like if there are 100 students in the same program who don't have experience applying for the same job, how will you stand out? It's all about how you present yourself. You can make you need to add your projects. You need to build your LinkedIn. You need to regularly post over there to show some interactions. And yeah, I think these would be the 2 main point that I did. And it worked out great.
Any thoughts you wish to share, Nicola?
Yeah, so I absolutely agree with Ronit. There's some fantastic opportunities to, I suppose, to make friends as well as, I suppose, network, and obviously maybe take part in different activities through the clubs and societies. And so obviously some of them are more focused on others, like, tech, soccer, different specific societies. I would say also kind of outside of, UCD Engineering Society and things, there's also the national level to consider. So that would be things like, again, I mentioned Engineers Ireland earlier on. So there's a variety of different professional bodies depending on what you're studying. So depending on what you're studying, there's probably even a couple of different professional bodies you might want to join. So again, if it is primarily engineering, you might be in Engineers Ireland, but maybe you're also in IChemE, or you're also in, a more specific subdiscipline as a professional body. So generally speaking, you can join professional bodies for free as a student. So you can just do it online basically and fill in an application form. I'd say the trick here is to actually go to things, which students aren't as good at doing. So I'll ask students, are they members of Engineers Ireland? And the hands all go up. But have you actually attended any of the events, or have you actually engaged with people? Sometimes that's a smaller number of hands. So it's fantastic to, I suppose, just take advantage of the opportunity. So for instance, Engineers Ireland is literally just around the corner. So it's not far away from us at all physically. So there are actual physical events, but there's also online events, there's also subgroups, there's a Young Engineer Society, there's all of these different groups. So I think if there's so much to do, but if you can take some time to prioritize maybe where are the specific people that maybe are of most interest to you, and if that is in a particular subgroup, joining that group. Similarly, I suppose, I know I mentioned the recruitment fairs earlier on. So obviously, if we're talking about networking, there can be a fantastic opportunity to network at events like recruitment fairs. So we have our own recruitment fairs, but there can also be different fairs organized by the societies, for instance, which can be more niche, as well as kind of on a national scale. We have organizations like Grad Ireland. They do recruitment fairs as well. So when we're talking about networking there, a lot of the time it can be just a matter of, I suppose, understanding the landscape better, seeing what employers are attending. When we're talking to the people at these events, we're probably going to be talking to somebody from HR maybe, or somebody who's in their current graduate program. So somebody like Ronit possibly could be brought along by Ericsson to a recruitment fair. So sometimes it's not about having to impress people. Sometimes it's about using this networking opportunity to gather information that will help you on your journey. So for instance, it would be great to ask someone like Ronit, can you tell me, like, what did you do yesterday? Can you talk me through what a typical day is like there? maybe to ask a little bit about the difference between the different streams of programs, things like that. And then when applying for a job, obviously you can tailor your cover letter maybe to mention that you spoke to somebody, and kind of what particularly attracts you to the company. So I think there's lots of different opportunities for networking. I suppose the key is you can't do everything. So maybe be a little bit strategic and think, what is it you want to get from this interaction? And I suppose to prioritize what is going to be most useful, but also to do it genuinely and actually enjoy meeting people and you know, hopefully make some friends at the same time.
Absolutely. And when you've traveled so far and you've got that opportunity to study in one of the top universities, I think it's very important to mingle with people from different nationalities. We always tell the Indian students also to go make friends with other nationalities. That will change your perspective. You hear from them and then you learn. So you mentioned, Nicola, about career fairs. Now, in India, career fairs are very different. Like there are companies who directly hire you, and on the spot recruitment happens. But I know it doesn't work like that in Ireland. So if you can tell us a little bit that what exactly happens in career fairs and how many career fairs happens. Is there any specific departmental career fair also? So if you can give a little, information on that.
Absolutely. I'll answer your question and I'll also promote a resource at the same time. So if anyone is interested in recruitment fairs just generally in Ireland or UCD, if you have a look on the UCD Careers YouTube channel, we have a little 2-minute video just called 2 minutes on recruitment fairs, and it tells you exactly kind of what to expect. So it's good to maybe watch things like that. So in terms of recruitment fairs, there can be very broad ones and very specific ones. If we're talking about engineering students in particular, so that our largest recruitment fair took place there on the 30th of September, and that would have been about 2,000 students would have attended that, and about 90 employers, and that would have been quite large employers. So there would have been a waiting list for employers to attend that. We just don't have capacity, so we have to prioritize. So that would probably be the most relevant ones. But again, as I mentioned earlier on, there are national ones like Grad Ireland, different organizations. I know, for instance, UCD Women Plus in STEM, which is a society group. They organized their first ever career expo, I think, last week. So they had employers coming along. Similarly, I know that our LEXOC, one of the clubs and societies here, also tend to organize events. So I suppose part of it is, again, as you're networking, as you're meeting people, you'll hear about these kind of opportunities. But again, I suppose if I was to draw attention to one in particular, it's going to be the our own careers fair, which is the Science, Engineering and Technology Fair on the first day. The second day, Business, Finance and Management, and the third day is the Law Fair. And again, anyone is welcome to come along to any of these. So what to expect is, I suppose it's not it's maybe not as transactional on the spot as maybe a student might have expected. So ideally what we'd ask students to do is register for the career fair. As part of that, they would download a booklet. So the booklet will tell them who is going to attend this fair from the different companies. So there'll be a listing. For the UCD one, for instance, in the very inside cover of the booklet, you'll see there's a big matrix, and it's all of the employers who are attending, and then all of the subject disciplines, and there's basically who wants to meet who. So if I'm a computer science student, for instance, I might kind of just go to my thing and go, okay, these are the employers who specifically said they're actually looking to meet me, just to maybe get ready a little bit for that. Ideally, what the student would do then is they would kind of make themselves a little target list. So literally pen and a page, who are the 10 employers or whatever I want to engage with the most. Then they would go, and before they attend the fair, they would do research. So they'd go on the website. So for instance, I'd go on the Ericsson website and I'd have a look and I'd go, oh, that's an interesting graduate program or an interesting internship. I would see if I have any questions, because sometimes you might have questions about the process. So for instance, there might be 2 different programs you could apply to, and should you apply to both or just one, or does it matter, this kind of stuff. So I see if I have questions like that. I might also just have a think myself, what do I actually want to know from this employer? So for instance, if I was going to talk to Ronit or one of his colleagues, I might have questions along the lines of, can you tell me more about the graduate program? I've read that this is this and this, but can you tell me, would I have a chance to work on multiple projects or just one project? So again, trying to have a little bit of research done, so you're not just asking, can you tell me, do you have any jobs? But much more usefully saying, I understand that these programs are open. Can you give me a little bit of understanding about, say, for instance, what makes an applicant stand out when they're applying? So I suppose it's more of maybe an informational exchange opportunity at the recruitment fairs. Ideally, the student has done their research in advance, has a specific question or a specific reason they want to talk to an employer, will make a note of what that is, and then use that information in their application afterwards, whether to maybe tailor their CV to highlight something, or maybe to mention a project or something that you found interesting in the cover letter. So that's maybe a good way to approach it. So a bit more informational.
Yeah, thanks, Nicola. That was very detailed information, which was much required. So, Ronit, if you can add your experience of going to a career fair, how helpful were they?
So career fairs, you get a lot of freebies. So that's the first incentive. So you and let's take my case. So like I'm from the computer science background. I would come into the career fair, and if I don't come to the career fair, there could be like hundreds of companies that I could potentially go to, but I would only know the names of 4 companies or 5 companies that are popular. Google, Amazon, everyone knows them, everyone applies to them. But there could be other companies as well that would have a role that you would like better than working at those companies. And that's where the career fair comes into place. So you go over there, you look at the companies, what they offer, and always there is a case there would be people who graduated from that college or from any other courses that are currently working at that company, so they will be able to give you an insight on how the day-to-day life looks like. There could be a case where you join a company that you have heard a big name, and you went inside there but you don't like the work, so you won't be able to perform as efficiently, and you won't be happy at the very end. So the career fairs would give you an opportunity just to get like an inside info, just to connect with the people who are in the role that you want to be, and just to gain some insight on, okay, so this is what I like. This is what I would be working on. An internship, you will always be mentored. So it's not like they would expect you to have all the knowledge, and like there is going to be specific training, and you'll have like a mentor in the companies who will be teaching you this and stuff, and you'll be working on actual projects rather than the dummy ones. So yeah, like they're super helpful. You just need to approach it in a way to get more information rather than um, just saying, oh, can you just refer me to this job? So it's going to be like that.
Okay, thanks, Ronit. And Katie, you've seen so many students, graduating like from so many years that I know you. So, what is your experience? Are international students, they've comfortably settled, or any challenges which you've seen or you want to advise students to be careful of? Sorry, Katie, you're not audible.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
A lot of it comes back to what Nicola and Ronit were saying. There's so many opportunities that students can be a little bit spoiled. And it's really up to the student how much they action it. So I've seen both sides of the coin. As you say, I've had such a great time working with so many international students. And I love nothing more than to see them get their dream job or start their career off in a company that they feel will give them a good head start. And I've seen that over and over again. Our students feeding into, whether it's the financial sector, the ICT sector. I was speaking to one of our graduates, Upala, the other day, and she graduated, I think maybe about, I don't know if you remember her, Supriya, she might have graduated from about 8 years ago.
Yes.
And she was a biomedical engineer. But funny enough, she now works more on the ICT side of things. She's living in Cork. She has an amazing career. She actually met an Irishman and married an Irishman. So she's truly well and settled in Ireland. And then, I have another student, Abhijit, and he's living in Galway and has got a wonderful career down there. And actually one of his classmates who came over to study from India as well, and they became best friends. He's also working down in Galway now as well, Deva. I've seen students who have either decided, okay, I want to pursue my career in Ireland because maybe they fall in love with the country and the opportunities they see are better here. But equally, I've seen students take their degrees and travel home with it, and their preferences are slightly different. So I think it's, a wonderful opportunity when you graduate that you can have the opportunity for either staying and settling in Ireland, or I've seen students taking their career off to Europe or returning home. So it's really up to the student how much they make of the opportunity. The opportunity is there. And it's up to the student how much they want to engage and how much they want to take those opportunities and focus.
Yeah, absolutely. You're very right. So, students, there are opportunities which you can definitely avail. It's only that you have to go connect. And if you go on LinkedIn, you will find all our students who have graduated. So if you search UCD's career network, all our alumni are listed over there. So you can connect with them, you can ask your questions. So you do not need any specific database from us to connect. LinkedIn is the resource which you should be using. Right. So I saw this question in the Q&A section also. So please feel free to connect with our alumni. Even whenever we are having webinars, it's always a different, alumni that we have. It's not always Ron, it's somebody else also who can come and share their experience. So similarly, you can just go and speak to them. And I'm very sure that you're going to get very positive feedback from us. Now it's almost time. And I hope we've answered all your questions. In case your question has not been answered, please feel free to visit our website or connect with SIUK team. They can guide you, or feel free to write to us on india@ucd.ie, and we'll definitely help you answer your questions. So at the last, I thank all the panelists for all the information you've given. It was very informative, and I'm sure students would have been very helped in getting that information. So please stay connected with us, and I wish you all the very best for your future. And in the coming week, we have Diwali, so happy Diwali to all of you. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you so
Thanks
much
all.
for this lovely
Thank you.
presentation and covering all the questions so well. Thank you so much, everyone, also for your valuable time. All the audience, if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact the SIUK India office. For more update, do follow us on our social media handles. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.